Hello YouTube and welcome to another video. So today we'll be working on a treehouse project that is long overdue, and that is hydrogen storage. So I never mentioned this in any of my other videos, but along with the solar installation in my treehouse, I actually also designed and built this little electrolysis cell that you can see here, which is actually capable of separating the H2 and O2 gas that is produced by the process. And I've had several applications for this system in the back of my mind, which included the storage of hydrogen for it as a means of power storage. You know, you would use the power from the solar panels over the course of a day to produce hydrogen, which you would turn back into electricity when you need the power in the evening, for example. But as it turns out, it would be a little bit expensive, especially when it comes to the fuel cell. And so I kind of wanted to take this another direction and also produce and store hydrogen, but for another purpose, which I'll be explaining in another video. So for today, we're only going to be looking at the technical, details of how I'm planning on achieving a somewhat stable hydrogen storage. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at here is my cunning plan for a low pressure hydrogen storage system. Yes, this is a medical examination glove, as you would, for example, find in a hospital or otherwise. And as it turns out, they're actually insanely flexible. I've done some tests with those, and if you pump them full with air, they will happily expand up to a sphere of around 1.5 meters in diameter, which is a lot if you consider this tiny little glove. And if you do the math on that, a sphere with 1.5 meters in diameter would have an internal volume of around 1.5 cubic meters of storage space of hydrogen you could store in there. And so before you call me out insane, I'm going to talk a little bit about the safety precautions I will take later on, and also give you some arguments why I think this will not explode in my face. But yeah, more to it later. Let's look at the hosing I'm planning to connect. So the first thing to figure out is gonna be how to connect this rather small hose here, which is the output hose of the hydrogen side, so to speak. Connect this little hose to this rather bigger acrylic tubing that I've got here, and the simple reason for not using just the same diameter hose is that I've only got that length that I need of this tubing, because you're gonna need to connect the hydrogen up to the balloon, which is gonna be on the roof of the treehouse. What do you know? A 2mm plastic syringe almost perfectly accommodates this plastic hose and connects perfectly to this hose here at the top. So the only thing I did here was to wrap the end in electrician's tape a little bit, just to make the outer diameter of this just a little larger so that it would fit snugly in here. I will anyway fill this up with silicone afterwards, but for now this is gonna be enough. Okay, so I'm now standing on the roof of my treehouse, and as you can see here, I have put the hydrogen hose up here and around, again through another syringe coupling thing, to the smaller size hose again, and into this little thing I found lying around, which just happened so to perfectly connect to the glove. So I might as well use that. It's just one of the fingers is cut open and put around it, and it makes a pretty tight seal, and just the part where your wrist would normally be is just tied off. And you will notice it is laying on this jacket here, the black stuff here, which is just to protect it from the rather yeah, not so nice roofing we got on here. So yeah, also you will notice, of course, the green mesh I put over here and laid down with stones, so that just wind and debris wouldn't blow it off. And also, if this works as intended, there would be hydrogen in here, which of course is lighter than air. And yeah, so I guess also to stop it from taking off. Alright, so we are close to firing up the electrolysis cell. One of the last things to do is to mix up the electrolyte. And well, right here I've just got regular tap water, which would kind of work, I guess, in the electrolysis cell, since there are some ions in there that will conduct electricity, but it will be very a very poor efficiency and rate of gas production, I guess. So in order to make it conduct electricity better and so that more current can pass through it, I'm gonna mix some sodium hydroxide in, which of course is gonna make this a base which has, yeah, better conductivity. It's really not important how much you put in. It's just everything should dissolve, I guess. So kind of arbitrary how much you put in. Maybe wait a minute or two. Alright, everything has dissolved and we're left with a clear liquid, which we are going to pour into our cell. First thing, take out this. Alright, let's see how that goes. Back in there. Okay, what a beauty to look at. Not really, but she got it where it counts, right? So got the electrics hooked all up, and also this little temperature control module right there. So right now I chose the current temperature of the electrolyte. There's a little probe in there. I don't know if you can make it out. And it basically, I've set it at 70 degrees. So if it goes over that, if the temperature goes over that, it's going to break the circuit with this relay and just, yeah, stop the electrolysis. Not that it would be like a runaway reaction, but it would kind of boil off the electrolyte and, yeah, would be a waste of time, right? So, yeah, I think the only thing left to do is to switch it on, which I've already made a button for. So if we hit this, we hear relay clicking and oh boy, I don't know if you can see it in there, but it is bubbling away. You can see perfect. Alright, I hope you get this on camera. But as you can see, the hose coming down here is the input from the electrolysis cell, and it has to go through a little bit of water here. This is called a bubbler. It's just to prevent the base that is in here, the sodium hydroxide, to splash up and like go through the tubing and into our tanks. That's what basically that is for. And also, in theory, it would prevent a fire to go back into the cell. So if, I don't know, our tank catches on fire, it would only, propagate till here, and then it wouldn't be able to go back into the cell. But well, I guess that's not really the most important reason for this. But yeah, it's mostly that you can see how much hydrogen you make. Right now it's hooked up directly to the solar array on the roof. I hope you can see that. The smaller two panels are the one powering the cell right now. Maybe I'll insert a photo here. Yeah. By the looks of it, seems to work great. And before you ask, the oxygen side, I just vent it off here because I have no real use for it. And also there is going to be all sorts of other stuff than oxygen coming through there. But yeah, that's it for now, and I'll keep you updated on this project. Oh, right. I almost forgot the safety side of things. As I promised you before, I was going to talk a little bit about why I think that this setup is not going to light the whole tree on fire. For one, it is, as I said, a low pressure system. It is not, I'm not compressing the hydrogen anywhere. So that's one big source of failure taken away right there. So it's basically stored at atmospheric pressure, which is one thing. And the other thing is, even if there was someone, I don't know, with a lighter lighting my balloon on fire, I think the explosion wouldn't actually be that huge, because for one, in theory there should only be hydrogen in there, and yes, I know there's going to be a little bit of air in the tubing that was just left over when we put it all together. But I guess compared to the amount of hydrogen in there, the little bit of oxygen that there would be in that air is really minimal, and wouldn't cause the hydrogen to properly explode, because as I'm sure you're aware, hydrogen on its own does not burn, right? And so that's one thing. And the other thing, even if we blow up this balloon with, I don't know, 1,000 liters of hydrogen, it is not that crazy much. It sounds much, but in terms of, I know, if you had a pressure tank full of hydrogen, you would have far more of that. Or just think about a hydrogen car. You would have like couple tenth of times more hydrogen in your car going down a highway at, I don't know, 100 kilometers per hour, and it's also considered somewhat safe. So I'm really not too concerned about risk of fire or explosion here. At least that's what I'm hoping. Maybe we will know more in a few days. But yeah, until then, thank you for watching, and we hopefully see us then.